Hydrology and Water Resources Engineering subject lab. So in previous lab we started with our first design and we discussed its related theory, data and calculations, and I asked you to complete it before this week's class, so hopefully you have done that. Now before I start with the second design and these slides and the design manual, second design has already been shared with you, hopefully you have got that. So if you have any question from your first design, you can ask before I continue with the second design. Anybody who has any confusion in completing the design number one, so he or she may ask. Yes, everybody has completed the design one, graph and the calculation. GCR.
यस सर।
कंप्लीट कर लिया आपने?
सर मैंने लिखा तो भी सारा नहीं, लेकिन मैंने मतलब देख और समझ लिया था, कोई प्रॉब्लम नहीं है अंदर।
चले, अगर किसी के किसने कंप्लीट किया हो या करने में कोई इशू आया हो तो पूछ सकते हैं, इससे फिर मैं सेकंड डिज़ाइन की तरफ जाता हूँ। जी पूछें भाई। जवाद अहमद
सर वो आपने कहा था कि कमेंट में आपने उनके ट्रेंड पर कमेंट करना है कि ये सैचुरेशन डेफिसिट वगैरह और सैचुरेटेड वेपर प्रेशर इंक्रीज कर रहा है, डिक्रीज कर रहा है, ये कोई ट्रेंड नहीं है इस पे। तो अप टिल 3 वैल्यूज वो सारी रीडिंग्स एक ट्रेंड शो कर रही है, मतलब सैचुरेटेड वेपर प्रेशर, सैचुरेशन डेफिसिट और जो रिलेटिव ह्यूमिडिटी है, लेकिन फोर्थ वैल्यू में वो तीनों अपना ट्रेंड तोड़ देती हैं। तो
हाँ, तो अकॉर्डिंगली आप कमेंट करते हैं जी फर्स्ट रीडिंग में जो है वो ट्रेंड ये वाला है और इसकी ये रीज़न पॉसिबल है, और आखिरी में वो जो है ट्रेंड डिफरेंट हो जाता है। तो उसकी अगर तो रीज़न समझ आती है ठीक है, अदरवाइज आप उसको जस्ट लिख दें, ठीक है।
चलें ठीक है।
Anybody else having any query? Okay, so those who have not completed, so they should try to complete in this week along with the design number 2, and the next week's class I will keep it for the question answer session for the design 1 and 2, so that and you should try to complete both by next time, so that if any confusion is there you can discuss, and then maybe next week I will ask to submit first 2 design to be checked accordingly. Now let me start with the design number 2. So as I mentioned, the slides are already been shared with you, so hopefully you've got those slides. We'll discuss related theory again, data, calculations and comments, etc. So design exercise number 2, if you have the manuals you can open them, and those who have got the prints of the manual design 2, so they should also keep in front, so that you can accordingly fill out the spaces for the data, and then we can discuss the theory and the procedure and data. So annual precipitation at rain gauge station X and the average annual precipitation at 36 at 20 surrounding stations, ये इसमें mention भी है, let me confirm. So you are given precipitation at station X and precipitation at 20 surrounding stations. So annual precipitation at rain gauge X and the average annual precipitation at 20 surrounding rain gauges are listed in the table below. So the table will be discussed later in the data. Examine the consistency of station X. Number 2, when did the change in the regime occur? Discuss possible reasons. And the third is adjust the data and determine what difference this makes to the 36 years annual precipitation at station X. So this is the statement for this design number 2. You are given with station X and 20 surrounding stations, and you are given the 36 years annual precipitation data to check the consistency at station X. So this is the table This is the table for the data. You are given the data for starting from year 2000. Actually, it is the end year. Uh, so starting from 1981 to 2016. This is the 36 years data that you will be provided with. So you'll start with the first year 2016, and in descending order you will come to the 1981, and accordingly the average annual precipitation at station X is given, an average of 20 surrounding stations is given. So later on the data is also attached with this design, so we'll have the view of it at the end. Coming to the related theory before we go for the discussion on calculations and completion of the this design. First of all, as you are given with the precipitation data, so you should know what is precipitation, and then further things relating to it. All types of moistures reaching the earth's surface from the atmosphere is known as precipitation, in the form of rainfall, snowfall, hailing, in the form of dew drops, etc. So all are the precipitation. The precipitation on the land surface is about 1/3 of the total global precipitation, and the remaining one takes place on the oceans. The precipitation on the land surface is due to 10% evaporation from land and 90% evaporation from the ocean. So ocean are the biggest source of evaporation, 90%, and as a result of this 90% evaporation, precipitation mostly takes place in over the globe. Precipitation is the basic input for any hydrological system. So you can see climatological station showing various equipment. So we have the rain gauge. On the right of this you can see one steel colored box, that is called the rain gauge. You will also see in your theory, hopefully discuss in the theory classes. We have this evaporation pan. This is the standard class A evaporation pan to measure the evaporation. This is to measure the rainfall, and this is the Stevenson screen. It will also be coming in the theory next. Stevenson screen contains the thermometer, minimum maximum for temperature. It also contains the psychrometer for the relative humidity, etc. So these equipments are normally attached in this Stevens. It's a box actually, and in this that is placed. Forms of precipitation. So there are different forms in which the precipitation comes on the earth's surface, like drizzle or mist, rain, snow, sleet, glaze, hail, fogs, frost, and trace. So these are different types of the precipitation, different forms of the precipitation in which precipitation comes on the earth's surface from the atmosphere, and this detail you will also learn in your theory class hopefully. Drizzle is the precipitation in the form of tiny liquid droplets having diameter from 0.1 to 0.5 millimeter. Intensity is less than 1 millimeter per hour. So it's a very, very small diameter particles coming down with very little intensity. Rain is on the other hand the form of liquid droplets having diameter more than 0.5 millimeter up to 6 millimeter, and its intensity varies accordingly. For light rain it is less than 2.5 millimeter per hour, and for moderate rain more than 2.5 to 7.6, and for heavy rain intensity is greater than 7.6 millimeter per hour. This classification is given by USA Meteorological Department rainfall. This is a standard rain gauge at a climatological station or a weather station, at a weather station also, which measures the rainfall that falls over it. There is a measuring cylinder inside it that we take out and take the measurement. Snow is the precipitation in the form of ice crystals. Specific gravity of freshly fallen snow is approximately 0.1. Sleet is the precipitation in the form of mixture of liquid drops and the ice crystals, especially in the areas with low temperature with rainfall. This can happen. Glaze is the ice coating generally clear and smooth on the exposed surface by freezing of supercooled water deposited by rain. So when the rain falls in such an area where the temperatures are very low, so that rainfall it freezes on the surface in the form of a clear layer of you can say frozen water. Hailing or hail is the precipitation in the form of ice balls or lumps. Diameter ranges from 5 millimeter to 125 millimeter. So it can have a considerable diameter as far as the rain, this hailing is concerned. Fog is the precipitation in the form of weak cloud cone reaching to the Earth's surface. It remains suspended near the Earth's surface. Due to very small size droplet, it remains suspended in the air and it causes visibility problem. Frost is the precipitation in the form of frozen dew drops on the land surface, and these are not good for the vegetation or for the agriculture point of view. It is harmful for the crops. Frost usually occurs in winter season when temperatures are low, so the dew drops they are frozen on the crop, on the leaves of the crops. Trace is very small amount of precipitation occurring at a gauging station, usually less than 0.125 millimeter, and normally for the hydrological calculation this trace is ignored. This is the weather station for the measurement of precipitation, wind speed, wind direction, minimum and maximum temperature. We also have this in our department. So you may have one visit during your on campus classes. So you can see this is the wind vane to give the wind, this is the wind anemometer to give the wind velocity, this is the wind vane to give the wind direction. We have the sensor for the temperature, and we have also the rain gauge attached and the sensor attached to measure the rain gauge, etc. Next is how precipitation occurs over an area. So there are 4 steps in that. You will learn in more detail in your theory class. So 4 mechanism to have precipitation over an area. So we have number 1, lifting mechanism to cool the air. Number 2, formation of cloud droplets in ice crystals. Number 3, growth of cloud droplets in ice crystals. Number 4, sufficient accumulation of moisture over an area. So first of all, lifting mechanism, water vapor which are present in the air, they are even during the cloudless days. Some water vapors are present in the air. So there are 3 mechanisms which are available in nature for lifting moisture laden air to higher levels where condensation is possible due to having very low air temperature. Convective system, orographic barriers and cyclones. So these are the natural ways to lift the air from near the Earth's surface to the atmosphere, and meanwhile condensation also takes place. Formation of next thing is formation of cloud droplets and ice crystals. So once the air is lifted up by the previously mentioned 3 processes, next thing is this air is condensed. Water vapors, they are condensed into cloud droplets, and this happens on hygroscopic nuclei or condensation nuclei. So these are the tiny particles having affinity for water. The source of these particles are the sea salt or product of sulfurous and nitrous acid. So what happens then when the evaporation takes place from the ocean, very small tiny particles of sea salt, they are also coming to the atmosphere with the vapors. So once they go to the atmosphere, condensation takes place, and water gathers around these tiny particles, and in this way cloud droplets are formed which come down as the rainfall. Condensation occurs if the air in the atmosphere is cooled to saturation. Condensation nuclei ranges from 0.1 micrometer to 10 micrometers. So these sizes are very small. For formation of ice crystals, freezing nuclei are required, which usually consist of clay minerals. Kaolin or clay minerals are the main source of these freezing nuclei around which ice crystals are formed, which cause the snowfall. Growth of cloud droplets or ice crystals. So once the ice crystals are formed or the cloud droplets are formed, next process is the growth of the cloud droplets or ice crystals. So cloud droplets or ice crystals, they grow, their sizes are less, normally less than 50 micron. And because of this very small size, they are unable to overcome the drag force and the buoyant force of air on them, and they are unable to reach the earth's surface. For them to reach the earth's surface, their size must be sufficient, and uh, and also to penetrate the unsaturated air without evaporating completely. Their sizes should be large enough. So how they grow in size? uh, an upward current of less than zero point 0.5 centimeter per second is sufficient to keep from falling to precipitating droplets having diameter under 10 micron. So if the diameter of the particles, cloud droplets, is less than 10 micron, so only 0.5 centimeter per second upward current can keep them in space and in air. They will not allow it to come down. So ice crystals of same weight, larger size, can be transported by even lesser velocities. In nature, there are two processes available for the growth of cloud elements. Number one, coalescence or collision of cloud droplets. So in this process, uh, the larger cloud droplets, because of higher velocities, fall velocities, they collide with the smaller cloud droplets, and in this way they grow in size. On average basis, it is found that 7 collisions take place per kilometer fall of the droplet. Second process is the coexistence of ice crystals and cloud droplets. In in this case, if in a layer of clouds there exists mixture of water droplets and ice crystals, so the vapor pressure on ice crystal is lower as compared to temperature. So as a result of it, the water droplets, they they are evaporated on the ice crystals, and in this way they are gathered around the ice crystal, and the size of the ice crystal grows in this way, and this is called as the Bergeron effect. So it is a Bergeron effect, that is the growth in size of the ice crystal by coexisting the ice crystal and the cloud droplets, and having the vapor pressure difference, causing the vapor drops to water drops to evaporate around the ice crystal. Last process in this is the sufficient accumulation of the moisture over the area. So for occurrence of heavy precipitation over an area, it is required to have the sufficient amount of clouds, water laden clouds available, so that this process is known as the convergence. So clouds, they come towards the area, they gather towards the area, they converge towards the area, and they cause heavy precipitation. Next is, what is rain gauge? It is the instrument used to measure the amount of rainfall or intensity of rainfall at a place. That is called rain gauge. Amount of precipitation. So its picture is also shown. A typical standard rain gauge is shown in this diagram. You can see it. This is a typical standard rain gauge used for the measurement of rainfall. Amount of precipitation is the total depth of rainfall over an area, usually in one day, measured in millimeters or in inches or in centimeters sometimes. Intensity of precipitation is the amount of precipitation at a place per unit time. It's also called as rain rate. It's expressed in millimeter per hour or centimeter per hour, inches per hour, etc. Mean or average rainfall for any year. It is the arithmetic average of annual precipitation for any years over a rain gauging station. Mathematically, it is P average is summation of 1 to n pi over ip, where P average is the average precipitation, n is the total number of years, pi is the annual precipitation for ith year. For example, if you are given with the 20 years precipitation and you want to find out the average for that year, for 20 years, so you will add the precipitation of 20 years, that is P1 to P20, divided by 20. So that is the P will be in this case it should be divided by N. So that will give you the average precipitation. So instead of P, let me correct it, it should be N. This is how you get this average rainfall for n years. So that is the average of the precipitation for the given number of years divided by the number of years. Annual rainfall, total amount of rainfall accumulated in 1 year at a place, that is called as the annual rainfall. Mathematically it is the sum of 1 to n, I is 1 to n into pi. Pi is the daily precipitation, and in this case n will be in days. So if you want to find the annual precipitation, you have to add the precipitation, daily precipitation for 365 days. तो अगर आप 365 दिन की जो है प्रेसिपिटेशन को ऐड कर लें तो आपके पास पूरे साल की टोटल रेनफॉल आ जाएगी जो इस साल में आपको अवेलेबल हुई है. Next is the average rainfall over an area. It is the amount of precipitation which can be assumed uniform for the entire area. It is estimated by using several approaches. One of the approaches is the arithmetic mean, simplest approach, arithmetic mean method, in which the average precipitation, again it should be n. So the average precipitation over a certain area is equal to summation of the precipitation for all the stations divided by the number of stations, where PAVG is the average precipitation, N is the total number of stations, and PI is the average annual precipitation for the ith station. So in this way you can find out the average precipitation or average rainfall over the area. Next is the consistency of precipitation data record. So it is the behavior of data record. Consistency means the behavior or accuracy of data record of a station as compared to the average behavior of all surrounding stations. So when you talk about the check of consistency, it means that to check whether the data record at a given station is compatible with the data recorded at the surrounding station or average of the behavior at the surrounding station. So for this purpose we use the double mass curve. So in this case, for example, if you want to check the consistency at station X, so at station X consistency data record is checked by plotting double mass curve. The variable on y-axis is the accumulated annual precipitation at station X, average annual precipitation at station X, and on x-axis it is cumulated average annual precipitation at the station at the surrounding stations. So double mass curve is a plot between average annual cumulative average annual precipitation at station X on y-axis and cumulated average annual precipitation of n surrounding stations. Consistency is checked by the slope of the curve being single or more. If the slope of the curve remains constant or 1 or single, the precipitation data record is consistent, and if it has 2 or more slopes, the precipitation data record has inconsistency. So this is how, by using the double mass curve, we check the consistency of the data record at a gauging station, comparing it with the average data of the surrounding stations. Reasons of inconsistency in precipitation data record are: number 1, change in the location of the rain gauge; number 2, change of the instrument rain gauge; number 3, change in the observational procedures. So these can be the possible reasons of inconsistency of data record. कि अगर किसी जगह पे रेन गेज की लोकेशन को हमने चेंज कर दिया तो इस वजह से इनकन्सिस्टेंसी आ सकती है, या उसकी इंस्ट्रूमेंट को ही हमने चेंज कर दिया किसी वजह से, या उस से जो मेजरमेंट हम ले रहे थे उसके प्रोसीजर को हमने चेंज कर दिया है. So these could be the possible reasons of inconsistency of precipitation data recorded at a gauging station. Now coming to the data and the procedure, so you have to make one figure that is available in the manual on page number 23. You have to show the location of station X and surrounding stations in a basin. So you are given with station X and 20 surrounding stations. तो आप स्टेशन X को शो कर लें और उसके सराउंडिंग में 20 स्टेशन को लगा दें तो ये एक फिगर बन जाएगी आपके पास. Let me discuss the data that is given to you. So this is the data. You are given with the serial number that is up to 36. You are given with the annual average precipitation at station X, that is on this column 19, 18, 31, so on, and you are given with the precipitation average of 20 surrounding stations. So you have to use the same data for your calculations as well, starting from it is ending at year 2000 and starting from 1965. So you are given with the annual average precipitation at station X and average of 20 surrounding stations precipitation is given. So what you have to do, first of all, you have to actually fill this table. So you have to write the year over here, starting from year 2000 up to 1965. You have to write the average annual precipitation at station X. This is column 1. This is given to you. You have to write the average annual precipitation of 20 surrounding stations. So this is already given in the data. You should just refill these two columns given the data. Now cumulative and average annual precipitation. So what you have to do in column 3, you have to cumulatively add column number 1 over here. For example, initially it is 19, then 18, then 20, for example. So in this column 3 it will be 19. In column second row of this will be 18 plus 19 plus 18. In third column 19 plus 18 plus 20. So column 3 is the cumulative addition of column number 1. तो कॉलम नंबर 1 में जो वैल्यूज दी हुई है, जो कि डाटा आपको दिया हुआ है, उसको आप क्यूमुलेटिवली ऐड करते जाएं, पीछे वाले को अगले में ऐड करते जाएं और यहाँ लिखते जाएं, तो ये आपका क्यूमुलेटिव एडिशन आ जाएगा. इसी तरह कॉलम 4 इज द क्यूमुलेटिव एडिशन ऑफ कॉलम नंबर 2. तो कॉलम 4 जो है कॉलम 2 का क्यूमुलेटिव एडिशन है, वो आप कर लेंगे. Now then you have to plot a graph between column 3 and column 4. Column 3 will be on it should be on y-axis. This graph is given to you. It is available in the manual. Plot between accumulated average annual precipitation at station X and accumulated average annual precipitation at 20 surrounding stations. So you have to plot column 3 versus column 4. Column 3 will be on y-axis, that is average annual cumulative precipitation at station X, and column 4 will be on x-axis, that is average annual precipitation of 20 surrounding cumulative precipitation of 20 surrounding stations. So now when you will plot these two data, now you can look at this. On y-axis we have the station X data, cumulative data, and on x-axis we have the station Y as 20 surrounding station cumulative data. Now if you end up having same slope, in this case there are two slopes as it is mentioned, one indicated by red line and the other is indicated by the light green line. But if you have one slope, it means that data is consistent. But if you have two sloped lines, so it means data is inconsistent. You have to identify the year after which the change has started to occur. तो अगर तो इस लाइन की एक ही स्लोप होगी तो ये एक कंसिस्टेंट डाटा को शो करेगी, लेकिन अगर इसका ट्रेंड डिफरेंट है, यहाँ तक स्लोप एक है, यहाँ आगे जाके स्लोप थोड़ी फ़र्क हो जाती है, तो तब इसका मतलब है कि यहाँ पे कोई डाटा इनकंसिस्टेंसी का मसला है. आपने वो ईयर आइडेंटिफाई करना है जिसके बाद चेंज आना शुरू हुई है, उसको हम कहेंगे चेंज ऑफ रिजीम ईयर या चेंज ऑफ पॉइंट, जिसके बाद से चेंज आना शुरू हुई है. इसके बाद यू विल फाइंड द स्लोप ऑफ दिस लाइन 1, स्लोप ऑफ दिस लाइन 2, दोनों की स्लोप फाइंड कर लेंगे। देन यू विल टेक द रेशियो ऑफ बोथ। तो ये प्रोसीजर लिखा हुआ है कि आपने सबसे पहले क्यूमुलेटिव एनुअल प्रेसिपिटेशन निकालनी है स्टेशन एक्स पे, फिर ट्रेंडिंग सराउंडिंग स्टेशन पे, फिर इनका ग्राफ बनाना है, फिर उसके बाद आपने पॉइंट्स को ज्वाइन करना है और दो स्लोप्स अगर होंगी तो उन दोनों को फाइंड कर लें। देन यू हैव टू टेक द रेशियो ऑफ S1 ओवर S2। S1 इज द स्लोप ऑफ द लाइन 1, S2 इज द स्लोप ऑफ लाइन 2। तो उसके बाद आपने एडजस्ट करना है एवरेज एनुअल प्रेसिपिटेशन एट स्टेशन एक्स को। वो कैसे एडजस्ट करना है, ये कॉलम 5 आपने फिल करना है। तो जब जिस पॉइंट तक या जिस ईयर तक वो जो स्टेशन है वो अपना कंसिस्टेंट है, वहाँ तक एज इट इज़ कॉलम 1 की वैल्यूज़ आ जाएंगी, और जहाँ से जिस ईयर से आगे चेंज आना शुरू हुई है उसको आप S1 और S2 रेशियो से मल्टीप्लाई करके लिखेंगे। तो इस तरह आपके पास वो एडजस्टेड वैल्यू आ जाएंगी। आफ्टरवर्ड यू हैव टू टेक द सम ऑफ द कॉलम 1 एंड यू हैव टू टेक द सम ऑफ कॉलम 5। तो इन दोनों को आपने फिर कंपेयर करना है कि इन दोनों में क्या चेंज आई है आफ्टर द adjustment to the data, how much is the percentage change in the column number 5 after the adjustment. So in this way you will complete this design. Then you have to answer the questions. पहला क्वेश्चन ये था इस डिज़ाइन में जो पूछा गया है, या जो पहली चीज़ जो पूछी गई है उसको आपने आंसर करना है। वो शुरू में पहली स्लाइड में है कि एग्जामिन द कंसिस्टेंसी ऑफ स्टेशन डाटा एक्स। तो अगर तो डाटा कंसिस्टेंट है आप लिख देंगे जी बिकॉज इट हैज़ वन स्लोप लाइन, सो डाटा इज कंसिस्टेंट। अगर डाटा कंसिस्टेंट नहीं है यू विल कमेंट कि डाटा इज नॉट कंसिस्टेंट आफ्टर दिस ईयर, दिस इज द चेंज ईयर आफ्टर विच द चेंज हैज अकर्ड। बी था व्हेन डिड द चेंज अकर इन द रेजिम, डिस्कस पॉसिबल रीजंस। तो आपने बताना है कि चेंज किस साल के बाद आई है, वो ईयर लिख देंगे, चेंज ईयर कौन सा है और रीजंस क्या है इसकी पॉसिबल, वो इसमें बताई गई है थ्योरी में, वो आप लिख देंगे। पार्ट सी है adjust the data and determine what difference this makes to the 36-year annual precipitation at the station। तो आप जब दोनों का सम करके कंपेयर कर लें कि कॉलम 1 और कॉलम 5 में क्या फ़र्क आया, कितने परसेंट का चेंज है, इंक्रीज या डिक्रीज है, वो आप यहाँ बता देंगे। सो इन दिस वे यू हैव टू कमेंट ऑन द रिजल्ट एंड फाइनली यू हैव टू कमेंट कि इसमें आपने जो डाटा इनकन्सिस्टेंट था उसको कंसिस्टेंट बनाया है, इतने परसेंट जो है इसमें चेंज आ रही है कंसिस्टेंसी चेक करने के बाद। इस तरह के पॉइंट्स आप लिख देंगे इसके अंदर। So this will be your design number 2. I will move now to the question answer session. If you have any question, you should ask. Yes. Anybody having question? जी पूछे।
सर ये एडजस्टमेंट का बता दें कॉलम नंबर 5 का।
जी कॉलम नंबर 5 जो है उसको अगर आप देखें तो वो लिखा हुआ है S1 ओवर S2 इंटू कॉलम 1। ठीक है, ये समझ आ रही है। S1 क्या है, ये स्लोप ऑफ लाइन 1 और S2 है स्लोप ऑफ लाइन 2। जब आप ग्राफ बनाएंगे तो आप देखेंगे कि इसमें दो तरह की लाइंस आ रही हैं, यानी कि दो डिफरेंट स्लोप्स की लाइन आ रही हैं। दोनों की स्लोप फाइंड कर लेंगे। स्लोप फाइंड करने का तरीका आपको पता है, दो पॉइंट्स के दरमियान आप जो x1 और y2 माइनस y1 ओवर x2 माइनस x1, इससे स्लोप आ जाएगी। ठीक है, या आप अगर आप एक्सेल बनाएंगे तो इक्वेशन वहाँ से ले लें, तो y इज इक्वल टू mx प्लस c, तो m जो है वो स्लोप आ जाएगी। तो स्लोप ऑफ लाइन 1 डिवाइड बाय स्लोप ऑफ लाइन 2, तो ये एक फैक्टर आ जाएगा जिसको आपने कॉलम 1 से मल्टीप्लाई करना है। लेकिन इसको कॉलम 1 से तमाम कॉलम 1 से मल्टीप्लाई नहीं करना, आपने देखना है कि जिस ईयर तक चेंज नहीं आ रही, जिस ईयर तक जो है वो एक ही स्लोप है, वहाँ तक कॉलम 1 की जो वैल्यूज़ है वो कॉलम 5 में लिख लेंगे, और इस ईयर के बाद जो चेंज ईयर है उसके बाद चेंज आई है उससे ऑनवर्ड आप जो है इसको लिख लेंगे, जो है इसको मल्टीप्लाई कर देंगे S1 और S2 से। क्लियर है भाई?
सर यानी कि हमने जब तक चेंज नहीं आता तब तक सेम कॉलम 1 वाली वैल्यूज लिख देनी है,
वही लिख देनी है चेंज ईयर तक। और चेंज
ठीक है
ईयर
सर।
के बाद में जो है वो तब आपने मल्टीप्लाई करना है इस फैक्टर के साथ।
ठीक होगा सर, थैंक यू।
जी, और कोई क्वेश्चन?
सर ये जो S1 लेना है, ये 1965 वाली साइड से लेना है या 2000 वाली साइड से?
ये आप जैसे डाटा दिए ऐसे ही प्लॉट करेंगे तो अब इसमें वो ईयर का शायद उस तरह नहीं आएगा। जो लाइन आ रही है पहले उसका ले लेंगे और जो बाद में आएगी उसका बाद में लेंगे, ठीक है।
सर आपने जो ये रिजीम टर्म यूज किया है इसको
जी
सर
जी,
थोड़ा सा एक्सप्लेन कर दें।
चेंज ऑफ रिजीम।
पहले हमें और ये बताया थोड़ा फुल होने।
एक मिनट, चेंज ऑफ रिजीम का मतलब होता है चेंज ऑफ ईयर, ठीक है। ये रिजीम का मतलब होता है कि इसको मुख्तलिफ टर्म्स में लेते हैं हम। इसमें यहाँ से डाटा मुराद है कि या कंसिस्टेंसी मुराद है कि ये जो रिजीम है, ये जो कंसिस्टेंसी है डाटा की, इसमें चेंज कब से आना शुरू हुई, ठीक है। तो आपने बेसिकली वो ईयर बताना है जब तक कंसिस्टेंट था और उसके बाद चेंज आना शुरू हो गई, ठीक है जी।
ओके सर।
जी दोबारा पूछें कोई जो क्वेश्चन पूछा था। जी
सर ये हमने पीछे एक पढ़ा कि 7 कोलिजन्स पर किलोमीटर फॉल ऑफ ड्रॉपलेट, तो सर इधर ये पर किलोमीटर फॉल ऑफ ड्रॉपलेट से क्या मुराद है?
जी वही वाली। जी एनी अदर क्वेश्चन? जी किसी का कोई और क्वेश्चन हो?
सर इसका आप वो एवेलुएशन का प्रोसीजर थोड़ा सा बता दें, लाइक मतलब कि कितने क्विज़ेस होंगे वाई टीसी लाइक दिस।
वो मैंने कहा था कि जब भी क्विज लेना होगा या वाइवा लेना होगा या आपको कहा जाएगा जी अपना डिज़ाइन सबमिट करवाएं, तो एक वीक पहले आपको बता दिया जाएगा, ठीक है। 2 क्विजेज भी हो सकते हैं, डिपेंड करता है, 3 भी हो सकते हैं, इतने ही होंगे। और डिज़ाइन आपका जैसे मैंने अभी कहा है कि नेक्स्ट वीक मैं अनाउंस कर दूंगा कि आपने उससे नेक्स्ट वीक कितने डिज़ाइन जमा करवाने हैं, तो वो इस तरह चेक होते रहेंगे, ठीक है।
सर जिनके पास हार्ड फॉर्म में ये डिज़ाइन है वो इधर ही फिल करके यहाँ पे प्लॉट बना के उसको स्कैन करके सेंड कर दें,
जी जी ऐसे
इसमें
ही
लिखने की
करेंगे।
कोई जरूरत नहीं। ठीक है
जी
सर,
वो
ओके।
ऐसे ही करेंगे। और बल्कि सभी ऐसे करेंगे, जिनको मैंने सॉफ्ट भी भेजा है वो प्रिंट लेके हाथ से ही करके उसको पिक्चर लेके भेजेंगे। करना सबने ये मैनुअली ही है।
ओके सर।
Any other question from your side? If no question, then I will now end this meeting. You should go through the slides again for this design. Go through this recording. I will share it in 1 or 2 days. और इससे रिलेटेड या पहले डिज़ाइन से रिलेटेड कोई भी क्वेश्चन होगा, जैसे मैंने पहले कहा कि नेक्स्ट वीक आई विल जस्ट कीप इट फॉर द क्वेश्चन आंसर्स फ्रॉम द फर्स्ट 2 डिज़ाइन, ताकि आप उसको कंप्लीट कर लें अच्छी तरह, और उसके बाद फिर वैल्यूएशन का मैं अनाउंस करूँगा। So next time in the next lab class we will meet again.